Here we are. Welcome. We are here in the Actors Garage, Vaughan, where we share beautiful stories with beautiful people all around the world. But today we have here Samantha Spatari. Welcome inside the Actors Garage. I'm here with my colleague and esteemed friend, Andrea Nisi. I'm Vince Moya, and we're going to get right down to it, guys. Samantha is an actor, an entrepreneur. She's amazing in her art. She's been in several films and theater productions. But I'm going to just jump right into asking her some questions because we want to hear what this actor has to say.
Well,
Samantha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. You can't see my face right now, but I am smiling under this mask. Such a pleasure to be here.
Awesome.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Glad to have you. Okay,
Thank you.
so Samantha, why and how did you get into acting?
I started out of the womb. No, I'm joking. I got into acting fairly early on in life. I began my career in dance. I was ballerina. I did jazz, modern, all the shebang, the competition. And then as I was exploring dance, I was also exploring theater and musical theater, and I was just having fun with it. And then can we turn the phones off? No, joking.
Yes, we can actually.
Cut.
All right.
No, so yeah, I did musical theater for a while, and I just kind of fell in love with the whole acting world. To be honest with you, I knew nothing about it when I started out. No one in my family is involved in this world at all. Like I'm like the first artist in my wonderful family. And so clearly none of us knew what we were doing. So a lot of trial and error until I finally kind of found where I loved exploring the craft. Theater is always my passion. I love doing plays. Got into a little bit of improv, and like recently I've been doing a lot more film and television and exploring that world. Completely different worlds, by the way.
Nice.
Theater's a whole different beast than film and television. So it's been quite a journey. The last 10 years have been very exciting. I've been very grateful to have been in a lot of productions and met some of the most amazing people. So, yeah.
Amazing.
So you got started at a pretty young age, you would say.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm talking about art in general, 4. That's when I began ballet. And then with the acting, I began around 16 exploring.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there was quite a gap there that you had between, I guess, were you still figuring out whether you wanted to be an actor, or because I understand the whole dance world. My daughter's also in dance, and even her, she was involved in musical theater as she got older, and then she started to realize, oh wow, like this is a whole other side of dance that initially when people think of dance, you think of dancing, like ballet,
sure.
jazz, hip hop. But musical theater is huge. It's a huge part of the whole dance industry.
Yeah, I mean, like musical theater usually comes with like singing, dancing, and acting. I don't sing, unfortunately, so I was never a triple threat.
Triple threat.
I think with the acting, I've always loved it. I grew up watching a lot of like Turner Classic Movies, Gene Kelly, Singing in the Rain. I was just hooked on that. And I think I always spent my childhood like making plays and like performing them. And for like no one wanted to watch these, unfortunately, but my family sat through them at Christmas. Very terrible plays when I was 4. But I mean, to me, I always felt all the world was a stage. Like anywhere I went, I felt like I was always performing. And then it kind of just naturally fell into my lap when I wanted to act. Like it made sense to me.
When would you say you start thinking about television and film acting versus being on stage?
I think when I was allowed to actually audition, my parents are wonderful, but they were very strict about the world because it's scary. Growing up in the acting world, there's a lot of things to watch out for. And I can see why now looking back, they had their reservations about the whole industry.
Right.
So when I was 18, my dad's like, well, you're 18, you can do what you want. And I was like, great, I'm gonna go to auditions. He still drove me and waited for me to
Wow. That's
great.
awesome. Though.
I love my parents. They're great. They definitely went through a lot. And honestly, like I like my dad driving me. Kind of got me ready to prepare. I was in the car, like doing my lines, ready to like audition.
It's better than not having that support, right?
Absolutely.
Whether or not he was just there because he wanted to make sure you got there safely.
That's pretty much it. It wasn't like they were like, "Oh, I'm so happy my
That's what it
daughter's an
was.
actress." Oh,
Just
like
make sure she knows you're smart.
Well, hang on a second. Do you come from an Italian background?
no. No, I mean,
That's
like they've
awesome.
always been supportive of my art. It's hard. It's a hard career to accept as any parent, I think, going into it who is unfamiliar with
Mhm.
like, my dad. They came from Italy, right? And like they're like, you're the first one to go to college, and I went to college for art. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, Samantha, I think we could relate.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. You wanna? We could fit it. We could add our own little comment on this if it's.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I could relate because my father, growing up in an Italian family, they never took the acting as a serious job.
It was like, oh,
So-
that's cute. It was
Yeah, right.
it was like a hobby. So
but it was one of those things that okay, you like doing it, but are you making money? Show me the money. You know what I mean? It was always
Yes.
could you sustain yourself, but you didn't understand the passion and the dream aspect of it, right?
I totally get that. Again, like if I was a parent and my kid was like going into a field I didn't know anything about, it's a fairly, film in the last 10 years has changed dramatically. So, I mean, I'm just starting to feel comfortable in the whole industry myself after a decade. So I could just imagine their reservation about having me pursue something that there's just no guarantee.
Of course.
It's out of your control. That's what I tell people. I'm like, you could be the best actor, but it might just be out of your control. Like there's other people choosing who they want in
Sure.
their film. So I always say make your own work. That's
Mhm.
something that's so important to me. I've made over 10 films myself because if I couldn't get the role, I just wrote my own roles.
That's one way to do it, right?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
It's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, Sam, let's move on. Did you ever think about quitting or it just wasn't for you?
Every day, people. I think in the last year have cried every week being like, I'm done with acting. I'm done. And I think if you don't do that, then I'm like, props to you. A lot of my friends, I'm sure yourselves included, have thought about quitting once or twice.
I'll give you my opinion after you speak.
But sorry, I don't mean to speak for you.
No, that's okay.
I just sometimes the rejection hurts. It's
course.
discouraging. It's I book 1 year like a bunch of projects and the next year there's nothing. It gets hard. It's hard on your self-esteem. It's hard on your mental health. And part of me had to come to the realization of why I loved doing this craft.
Right.
And when I realized what joy brought me, it wasn't fame or money. It was just the pure joy of the craft of actually getting a theater book, reading it. Honestly, like once theaters open up, I'm like the first to audition for it. And that's what brought me joy. And
That's awesome.
that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I guess doing it for a living, like being paid to do it on the daily, is obviously something you would want to aspire for, right? That's your ultimate goal, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that you could say that for any industry, right? There could be people that want to open up a restaurant that are passionate about food, but their restaurant doesn't work out, right? So at some point, you always got to decide, why am I doing this? How is this affecting me financially? Because obviously everyone needs money to live. So
Exactly.
Listen, everybody's
It's
story's
difficult.
different.
Mhm.
Like for myself, I'll just tell you straight up that like I'm entering a new decade of my life. I was thinking about having a family one day, owning a house, and these are just things that I want. And I had to think about how my life was going to be for the next 10 years. And
Right.
as much as I like would love
Mhm.
to make a steady income, and if that happens, I'd
It's
be forever
amazing.
grateful.
Of course.
But you know, it's not steady for me. It's been like some years are fantastic and some years aren't, and that's just not sustainable for me.
Mhm.
So I just have to, you know, I still want to do it. I'm still doing it. But I've also explored other avenues, not just the acting.
Mhm.
I've gotten into directing and producing.
Awesome.
Editing, basically anything that's in the industry, but it also provides some sort of income.
Of
Like
course.
acting might provide me 20% of my annual income,
Mhm.
but then I supplement it with other things that also bring me joy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So before Andrea asks for the next question, I'm gonna add to that.
'Kay.
And we always keep it real here in the Actors Garage. Andrea and
Yeah.
I, always are gonna keep that. So I actually, and I truthfully say this and genuinely, that I never, ever, ever thought about quitting. Andrea knows me for a while. You've
I
known me
know
for a
you.
while.
I know that.
And
Yeah.
The good thing about that was back in the days when I started to get into having an agent and not really knowing the business, I was sitting around being like, oh my goodness, why? I would call the agent every day. They're like, stop busting them. We will call you. Trust me. Okay, then I would call them every week. No, not even every week. Then I would call them every month. So I was just eager to work.
Of course.
But it was frustrating. But what happened was that led me to say, what else could I do? Which led me to say, hey, maybe I could start writing something. Maybe I could create something. Maybe I could do my own scenes. So by waiting around, it just pushed me to open up the doors of being a producer, director, writer,
Exactly.
starting my own stuff. So I never really thought about quitting. Instead, that fueled me to continue moving forward and being more ambitious of doing things.
But I respect that so much too.
But it wasn't sustaining me. That's where my parents and my dad was like, what are you doing? Every penny you get, you're throwing into acting and pictures. And I was small. Like, I've been doing this for a while. But I never quit because I always, in my heart, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
And honestly, like that's why, like, after, I don't know how long we've known each other now, probably almost 8 years, 8 years.
Yeah. I think close to 10.
Oh my gosh.
Close to 10.
Wow.
Decade, yes.
Yeah. I think that's something I've always admired about you,
Hold
because
2000, when did we do that play?
2013, 2011.
2013.
That's
Oh my gosh.
The Italian Virgin.
The Italian Virgin.
Yes.
Oh my
You were awesome in
goodness.
that.
Thank you. You too.
That was a while.
That was a while.
Wasn't it more than 10 years? It's not
No,
more than 10
no,
years?
no. But that's something I've always admired about you, because you were always so solid in like what you wanted. I was, I grew up very insecure. I grew up with a lot of like self-doubt. And so for me, that's why I think I kind of flip-flopped a lot.
Yeah.
Until like recently, where I've been meditating and reading books and really working on myself, that now I feel like, yes, I love acting. I'm going to continue doing it. I'm going to also find other avenues.
Of course.
It just took me a little bit longer. Whereas some
Absolutely.
people, they're just born with like this passion behind them. And it's something I'm striving to always reflect in myself as well. Yeah.
A lot of people have luck too. Let's face it, guys.
It's
You need a little bit of luck
It's
too.
luck.
Someone.
You
It's
need a
always-
little bit of luck.
I don't know. I know that there's that kind of famous quote or saying. I don't know who said it necessarily. Maybe people can fact check. Where it said that someone said a very famous actor said at some point someone has to help you. Like at some point,
Yes.
someone has to
It's gotta be a
see
break.
something in you and give you that opportunity. And
Listen.
I think the issue with the industry and the issue with insecurity, because I myself experienced that as well, even as someone that got into it as a performer and then slowly moved my way behind the camera, partly because of that insecurity. I think the problem with the industry is that, and probably just society in general, is this idea that you need to be validated by your peers.
Yes.
You need to be given that validation so you feel like you reach a level of success. So I think the problem is that depending on what you determine or what you feel success is, so
Yeah,
if success
exactly.
for you is, oh, I got to get in that big name movie and I got to work with these big name actors and I got to be in Hollywood, then it's going to be a really tough road, because and I'm not saying not to have those high expectations, like shoot for the stars, right? But if you don't learn to balance that out, if you're on one of those trails like us that we're continuing to still work at it, it's going to be even harder. So you have to feel validated by yourself as well, just to know that no, there is value to what you're doing.
Listen,
so your successes are your successes. People can't take it away from you, right?
Of course, the most successful actors I've ever met, and they're not like A-list actors, like those people that are famous, we know them. Yeah, I think a lot of the time they have said it was just the right place at the right time. They were the right look for the right movie, and then they blew up, and that's it. But I've met so many incredible actors when I was in Vancouver, like just phenomenal, like actors from LA, actors from London, and they all have kind of a similar thing to what you were saying. They didn't need validation. They just were so comfortable in their own skin, and that is what came out on screen as this natural performance. Because they're just being them in a role, and they could do a role that was like really gritty or a hallmarky role, and it was the same person, just adapting differently to the script. But again, it's like they're finding success because they're just themselves.
Trust themselves, first of all, believe.
But I love that what you said about success too. What's success mean to you? Success means to me something different than maybe what it means to you and you.
Of
and
course.
I've kind of had to like reflect on it over COVID too, because the industry was affected. It's been actually, for me, it's been a busy year. It's probably been the busiest year for me.
All these
ever.
actors are not getting their auditions. They're like, what's going on?
I am. So thank you, Stephanie. You've been amazing. But honestly, there's some years where it's been terrible.
Awesome.
So I think success for me is just being happy in like the roles I'm getting, if I feel fulfilled in them. And this is just where I'm at right now. And this was different from 5 years ago. This is different from 10 years ago. Trust me, 10 years ago, I thought I was going to be the next like movie star. And I didn't even know, like, and sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, because people think this life is glamorous. I'm like, you're doing 16-hour days on set for like 4 months straight, and you don't see your family. So
you got to really love it.
You got to love it.
I'm going to ask you the next question, but I promise, because this is what Andreas says, and I stand by it. Guys, especially if you're doing a production, any production, film or theater, any finished production is a success. Forget about if it's a blockbuster hit or people like it or not. If you end up making a film and you made the film, like it's in the can, you're a success right off the bat. So just make that film, guys. Do whatever it takes and make the film.
Just do it.
Done.
Why not? Like, I love it. I've had film festivals, I tell you, where my film, we spent hours. You know how many people were in that theater watching that film? 5. But still, they loved it. It doesn't matter. Even when I've done theater shows and one person shows up, you perform for that one person.
Show must go on, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That is very awesome. So this question here is a little bit more personal, like a little bit more fun, and could be quirky, whatever.
Okay.
Give us like an embarrassing moment or something that might have happened to you on set that.
Oh no. Okay, it's okay.
Perhaps that you had to, I don't know, work your way through or work your way out of, or.
Yeah, I tell this story a lot. I'm just going to talk about one of my auditions in my early days. Like, this is before. This is like me auditioning when I wasn't really like, I was getting out of the modeling world. That's a whole different story.
Okay, we might get you back on.
Yeah. Modeling 101 from Samantha Spatari. And I wasn't really sure how the audition process went, and I was going out for a lot of like indie projects, and this one and I wasn't like, I was totally one of those people that thought acting was really easy. So I was like, I don't have to memorize my lines. I'm just gonna go in and wing it. I'm like 17 or 18. I don't know. It was like, I was super immature. Show up to the audition. It's like a short film, no lines memorized. I go in and then I forget all my lines because I'm nervous. Clearly, this might have been like my 4th audition. Super nervous. So I go in, and the reader with me was very handsome. So I was like,
You were smitten, were you?
I wasn't smitten in the way that like I forgot my lines because he was so hot. I just literally was super nervous. But then I try to play it off really cool. But then I have no improv skills at this point in my life, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I just forgot my lines because you're just so hot. And
Oh, you actually said that.
I did. And the whole
That's
room
hilarious.
went quiet, and they're like, okay, can we we'll just take it again.
Wow.
And then I try it again, and I'm literally like, I'm sorry, and like walk out of the room, just can't do it.
Really? Oh, wow.
Tail between my
Wow.
legs. And then you know what? Sometimes you gotta fall on your butt to get back up
Yes.
and actually do the work. And then
Yes.
after that, I was like in classes. I spent a lot of time in classes and just script work and understanding like how to break down a script and to make sure I never go through that experience again. 'Cause the worst thing you can do is go to an audition unprepared. You don't have to like if you're not memorized, they give you 14 pages the night before. Okay, we get it. We're human. But don't go in just like cold reading a
Yeah,
script unless
absolutely.
they ask you to.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's
No,
the
I
worst.
think
It's the
you're
worst
right.
feeling in the world to go in, and especially if there's like 5 people watching you and you absolutely bomb. It's the worst feeling.
But you responded well, right? That's the important thing, right?
Yeah, I probably cried. I don't remember. I
well,
probably like
it's how you come back from things, right? Like you could
Yeah.
easily.
I could.
That's how you judge your character, right? Like if you took that hit and
Mm-hmm.
then just never faced it again and said, "Oh my God," and I'm terrible. What am I doing? That would have said something else about you, right?
For
But
sure.
the fact that you took it and you moved forward and you realized, wait a second, if I'm gonna do this, I need to take certain steps to improve myself, and that's what the important thing is. And look, you're sitting here today, you're still working at it, so that's an achievement in itself,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, so what is the one thing that motivates you to continue as an actor?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I just feel like I can't stop. I don't really know what the motivate. I enjoy it so much. It brings me joy. If it didn't anymore, I think I would stop. I
Right.
think I would literally be like, I'm kind of at that point where if I go 3 days, I forget who says it. And I'm terrible at that. I don't know if it was, no, I'm not going to say it. Someone, and we can fact check this, right?
Fact checker.
Said that if you don't enjoy doing something for 3 days, it's done. Move
Oh,
on.
really? That's like when you hit your threshold kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's like, but it's a way of life, I guess.
Mhm.
And I've just been kind of living by that. Like, if I don't enjoy something, that's it. I'm done. I'm moving on.
That's interesting though,
course.
because you do feel that with things. Like you can just feel that with anything, like even work, right? You're like, some days you're like, okay, and then one day goes by, but the next day you feel better.
Yeah,
That
of
does
course, you
happen.
gotta like weigh your options.
But
Like,
it-
I'm not
it-
just gonna leave a really good job.
No, but
because-
it wouldn't make sense if you had like 3 or more days in a row where it's like, okay, this is like the worst thing in my life. Then I can imagine where you would start to make other choices.
I think what motivates me is because there's certain stories I'm ready to tell. And whether or not it's through the right role or I write something, that's what's motivating me now. I grew up in a time in the industry where women had to have a specific look,
Mhm.
had to have a specific
Right.
weight, had to be a specific type. And that's exhausting. And then I always felt like I was playing someone else besides myself to appease the roles that were coming in.
I could imagine coming from a modeling background, how much you would have had to deal with that as well.
Oh my gosh, modeling, I lasted like a month. It was
Wow.
like I was too short and fat, apparently. So I just decided this year that I was not going to take roles that I wasn't comfortable with, that I didn't believe in the script. And I'm only auditioning for things that speak to my
Good.
soul.
Good for
And
you.
my
It's your
agent
choice
is
though, right?
so on the ball. And that's the other thing.
That
My
helps.
agent is like I love her so much. She's just such a cheerleader for me, and she respects all my decisions, and that's really important too. Surround yourself with the right team.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's funny how you say the 3-day threshold. Just quickly, when Andrea and I did Jack's Chair, the film, there were many, many obstacles where our
Mhm.
team were like, no way that this is happening. I'm talking about from blocks of ice that we had to chip away.
I remember that.
From water back up in the basement.
Yeah.
And we're like going to Home Depot getting pump tanks. We were making this film no matter what. But we could tell that some of the crew were looking at us, and even some of our, investors were like, "What are you guys doing?" Let's already thinking about the next option of maybe not doing it or changing locations. But we were passionate about it. We're like, "No, we're filming here, no matter what it takes." Right?
It's always easier. It's always easier to give up or even give in. Right? You could give in. It's not always giving up. You could give in and be like, "Oh, I guess we can't do it here. We'll go over there." But
Exactly.
Listen, if
We
everybody
didn't
had
do
that
that.
mentality, you wouldn't have seen Elf. You wouldn't have seen Jaws.
yeah, that's
These
right.
movies would not have got made
Exactly.
unless like
Exactly.
the directors and the people behind it and the writers really believed in the story and fought for these stories to
That's
be
right.
told. And I think that's so important. And I'm glad you guys did it, because then you came out with an amazing product.
Yes,
Yeah.
Andrea directed that, and it was amazing. I loved
Mhm.
it. Well,
It was fun. It was fun. We enjoyed
thank you
it.
for trusting.
No, we trusted each other. Thank you for trusting, right? Like, look, we've never thought like, oh, we know everything. We know exactly what we're doing. We know how to do this, and we're
Fake it
learning
till you
every day.
make
We're
it.
constantly learning, right?
Yeah.
So it was just fun to do it and have that experience. Something we've talked about from high school, and then getting out of touch and getting back in touch.
Listen,
It-
there's
it
a
wa-
lot of people that say they're gonna do it
And
and
then
then
don't.
never
And they
do
don't.
it. And you guys actually did it. And so that's like a huge accomplishment, because
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my worst fear, is going on my deathbed and regretting something I never did.
Exactly.
So even if I don't ever make it as like an actress, fine.
You've made it.
you made it.
Yes,
Yes.
I made it. But let's say like I never, like I quit tomorrow. I did it. And no one can take that away from me. And I'm very happy about. I'm sorry, I'm just like super
No, no,
proud of
no.
No,
myself.
well, if you quit, we're gonna come find
Yeah.
you.
I wanted to tell you guys something about Samantha. We did a play together, and
Yes.
look how the industry works, guys. Because anything can happen, but because she's such a passionate artist, she got a better role in the actual production. So you came to audition for the play that I wrote.
I think it was
A
just a
better role.
dancer.
A better role,
And
everyone.
It was just for a dance.
I think it was like a
I'm like, just
bartender,
for a solid-
dancer.
No, first a bartender.
Oh
So
yeah.
you got cast for a bartender, which was a very cameo role. I think it was like not even half a page, but she was gonna do it, and I didn't think, because I saw your talent, I'm like, I don't know, she's too talented for this role, but you accepted it. Then I quickly said, you know what? Let's add this dancing scene, because I knew that she was coming from a dancing background, so now you get the dancing role. But then something happened in the production, and I had to change the script and take out the bartending scene, and she got one of the lead roles on top of that, and then the rest was history. We did an amazing production. So sometimes
great.
if you stick it through, because I got offered sometimes, okay, if you don't get the lead role, are you willing to do this? I always say yes, because just being a part of any production.
And again, if you don't
never
want to
know.
do that, that's fine. Like I
Right.
could see the breakdowns. If like you don't want to be that background person, that's
Yeah.
fine. And that's fine too. But that's how you want to pursue your career. You'll take There's no small roles. There's no small roles.
That's a good one.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a big cast.
We had honestly,
It was
like,
a huge cast.
it was
Huge.
great. It was my
Like,
first major play
it was
getting
fun.
back into acting. It was
Yeah,
like
it
my
was really
first
fun.
thing. No, it was
Yeah.
amazing. We had a
I
blast.
think this girl in the room was in it too.
We had a
Madeline.
beautiful singer.
She did a singing, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
I wanted to ask, because we wanted to ask you what was one of your most memorable film and theater productions.
Yeah.
We kind of went over that. So I want to just go back to that. What was your most memorable theater production you put on, and most memorable film, short film, or whatever it might be, or television
Yeah.
series or show?
Oh my gosh. Well, for theater, obviously it's The Italian Virgin. I just had, honestly, we had so much fun making it. It was something completely out of my comfort zone, and we pulled it off. And the cast, I miss everybody. I hope I hope you guys are all well.
We might put that up.
Well, I heard there might be a revival. No,
There might be a
Oh.
revival in the making. Let me put this out there, a little bug out there.
I don't know. I heard some
and,
things. I heard some
I
heard
things.
some things, and some people in this on this
Very
platform here
exciting.
might be in it. So
It was amazing. It was just the best time. I had the best
was. It was
time.
a lot
We
of
had
fun.
like rehearsals Tuesdays and Thursdays.
you remember
I do.
at the Columbus
At the Columbus Center.
So
Oh wow!
And it was great
awesome.
because I taught there, so I could just like I could jump from. I was like I lived there basically that year. It was amazing. Film wise, I think the most memorable experience was my first time booking a lead on a feature film.
Oh, nice.
It was for On Again, Off Again by Arslan Shirazi and Biko Franklin. And it was just I before that I had just done a few short films. I was still really early in my career. And the audition process was hilarious because I auditioned for it in like November, didn't hear anything. March comes around, they're like, so you're called back. I was like, for what?
I know it happened.
We laugh about that sometimes. And then nothing again. And then a few weeks later, I get to go in person and we have a really good time. I made a joke about pizza and then we had a great they were like, we liked how you connected with the lead and you guys the chemistry was there and that's why we chose you. And I was like, okay, literally like no experience. I felt really confident though, because sometimes when you're new into acting, the confidence is just there.
It's a raw thing.
It's raw.
Yes,
you're just like,
see that.
Yeah, you're so like doe-eyed and ready to do anything, right?
Exactly.
The casting crew was amazing. We shot over 2 months all around Toronto.
Wow.
Literally the most professional set I've ever been on. Everybody that worked on that set has gone on to like amazing things. And yeah, I mean, what I respected about it too was that like they funded it, they produced it themselves, they put a lot of heart and soul into it, and it was just a great experience because like I lived the dream that I wanted to live. I was on a set for 2-3 months.
That was a film festival is that the one that I came to? The one that premiered downtown? That was another
one. This one was
I think it was that one.
Maybe.
Did they premiere downtown?
No, it was at the Mosaic International Film Festival, but I think that was in Mississauga.
What was the name of the film?
On Again, Off Again.
On Again, Off Again.
And it was great, and we had the best time, and it came out really great. And I don't know, it was just I lived the dream. It was honestly great to see my parents, like me getting home at 5 a.m. from the set, being like, "You're just getting home." I'm like, I'm a working actor.
It's normal.
I got paid for it. Exactly. It was just great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But I could tell, Samantha, like you're like us. I see, the passion through your eyes and your body language that you love doing this, and that's what it's about. When you love it, there's no wrong in whatever you do. It's just a lesson. Every time you're on set, it's amazing.
It made me realize though that I really love working on independent films. Like okay, don't get me wrong, I love being on set. I've been on some incredible sets. But again, it's unless like you're the lead, if you're just the day player, you're showing up and you're just there for the day and then you go home and you never see these people again unless they invite you back. But on a film set that's like movie driven, like not so much TV driven, but more film driven, or like an independent film, you're there with these people and you're creating and you're working one-on-one with like the director and the other actors. And I think that's what I really loved about it, was the process of creating this product.
It's exciting.
It was so exciting.
You gotta really love it. There's long hours and a lot.
Oh my gosh!
Of
Please
work.
don't go into this career unless you absolutely like
love it.
It's
definitely.
It's heartbreaking and it's beautiful at the same time. So if you're not willing to ride that wave of like
that's right.
the high highs and the low lows, like just go get a cushy job. Like legit, I'm telling you. And sometimes I really wish I just did that. Like for me, like sometimes it's so scary, this career. So yeah.
So Sam, what advice would you give to brand new actors?
Oh my gosh, where do I start?
I mean, now during COVID, anything is hard to get into, but it doesn't matter. Give them.
Just get TikTok famous.
That's it.
Well, you did a pretty good job, sort of already, sort of giving some advice. But how would you kind of sum it up for someone that's looking to get started, or has gotten started and is slowly figuring their way out?
Well, actually, during COVID, my partner Kathleen and I started a blog. It's called littlecupofacting.com.
Oh, cool.
And we're starting to compile like this kind of information because we think there's no one there to guide us. So we wanted to be there for everybody starting out in the industry, because it's a scary and daunting and like overwhelming industry to start in, I think. Oh my gosh, where do I start? If you really want to get into acting, amazing. Don't go get an agent right away. I think what's really important is see if you even like it, okay? Like, see if you even like the idea of like most auditioning and script work is 95% of your job. The acting portion is like 5%. So
Right.
make sure you actually like doing homework. Make sure you actually like reading books and scripts and watching film. Like, just don't go into this to be famous. Like, honestly, just go make a YouTube channel or TikTok or whatever
Right.
kids do these days to be famous. And if you're doing it for money, I'm telling you, like, don't do it for money.
Don't even start.
Don't do any job for money. Do it for your passion.
Absolutely. The
But-
money will come.
and then money will come. But yes, if you're starting out, like, take some classes, like, do some research, see what like you would even like doing, because there's so many avenues in acting, right? Like you might like love commercials, you might love theater,
true.
you might love film, you might even love like doing your own films, like not even anything mainstream, like doing independent films, going the festival circuit. Again, like even creating your own theater productions. Once I know it's COVID and everything, but once things lighten up, like people are going to be hungry for this.
Absolutely.
This theater, the performance, the I think we've all watched everything on Netflix and everything.
Yeah,
We're
really,
like
eh?
so done. I'm on Prime Video now. Prime. I don't know what else.
You're going through all of them: Hulu, Prime,
Hulu,
Amazon,
Prime, there's
Amazon's
so many.
Prime, right?
But
And
also,
there's
if you're
Disney and what else is there?
oh my god, I don't know everything. But if you're getting into
The rest
acting,
is on YouTube.
and if you're getting into acting, just be like happy with yourself. Like don't bring any, like, don't do it to prove anything to anyone. Don't go in it thinking like, I gotta show my parents that I gotta do this and I gotta prove that I gotta do. Just do it because it makes you happy. If you just being happy doing anything is just going to make your life way worth living, as opposed to like forcing yourself into something. And then once you take some classes, then you can start like building a resume. There's a lot of great, honestly, some of my best experiences were on student films when I first started
I was
out.
going to mention that.
Those
yeah.
those
Some of
kids
those.
are like on the ball
They're
because they're
hungry.
getting
They're
marked on
hungry.
it, and also like hungry, and they're all like the next Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
Honestly, some of the best footage I've ever gotten was working with like Maria DeSanctis. She was amazing. She's a director and producer now. And yeah. And then look for the agent. Like the agent's not gonna, an agent doesn't make your career. An agent's like the middleman that negotiates your contracts and like gets you into the rooms. Sure. And yes, like an agent is important, but let me just say it's not like the end all. Like you don't need it like right away. Like the worst thing you can do is go into a room green and then make the process so hard on yourself. Like going in nervous, scared,
Absolutely.
lost. Then you're not going to enjoy it. So
Exactly.
like don't rush into it. Let me tell you, like you can start acting anytime. I know 70-year-olds that are making a career right now. Like there's roles for everybody. Just take your time, find what works for you, get your training, get grounded in yourself, bring an authentic you to the camera, because if you don't do that, you can memorize, but it'll look like you're speaking off a script. And then you're ready for the world. And then you can actually go on set and carry a show, because it's hard. It's hard to like be on a show 18 hours a day. They're giving you scripts. Like, don't think it's easy. They'll give you a script and be like, hey, we changed this. Here's 10 pages
Yeah.
for tomorrow.
Right.
And you have to memorize it. And if you're not ready to do that, then don't
It's
do
work.
it.
It's work.
It's
right?
a lot of work.
pressure. Definitely.
You should hear some of the stories. Like one of my interviews with Michael Gordon Shore, and he talks about like they just hand him like 3 paragraphs 3 minutes before. And they're like, yeah, okay, we're shooting this in 3 minutes. You're an actor, right? You can do this.
It's true though.
It's true. That's how it is. So if you're not ready
Absolutely.
for that, don't do it. Or you're going to be like, I was going to say poop on a boat. Like shit out of luck. Sorry.
It's
No, no,
okay. That's
I
a
didn't want to
safe-
swear,
that's a
but I
safe
did.
word.
Okay.
Sorry, people.
All right, Samantha, I'm gonna make Andres say a few words, but before he says anything in conclusion here, and then I'll say a few words. Where could they find you?
Yes.
Tell them.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, you said you had that blog too, so maybe people
Yes.
might be interested in that. Yeah.
So you can find me a few places. You can see like my personal Instagram, Samantha Spatari. Or you can catch me on IMDb. You can check out my stuff on my blog, A Little Cup of Acting, that I do with my partner Kathleen. We have a Facebook page, A Little Cup of Acting, so you can check us out there. Honestly, we're super proud of it. It's such a great resource. Kathleen and I worked our butts off the last year to get this together for you guys. So use it. We have templates on there that if you need help writing emails, they're there for you.
Awesome.
We literally compiled all those templates for you guys to use. Just like, how do I talk to an agent? How do I email a casting director? How do I respond to this? You know, it's
Communication is important. Yeah.
Amazing.
you
valuable
wouldn't
information.
believe the type of emails I've seen.
Mhm.
It's
I'm
remember
surprised.
when you're starting out as an actor, it's a craft, it's an art, but it's also a business. So you have to also understand
The
how to
business side.
act that way as well. So
For sure.
we give a lot of tips on that too, and just like stuff about like your headshot and resume and how to take a good headshot and like what you need when you're submitting to an agent and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, be sure to check us out.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's really, honestly, we really appreciate your time. Like, we know you're busy, and especially with things going on, we really appreciate you coming in here. We're very happy, and we appreciate you being safe and wearing your mask. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing. Like, that was a lot of fantastic information. So everyone out there listening or watching, take it in, take notes. Like, this is valuable information from someone that's been out there in real life experience.
Also, if you have questions, like just contact me, like send me a DM or an email, and I'll get back to you. I'm definitely willing to help actors because I think sometimes we think it's a competitive industry.
True.
And if we just each help each other, like elevate each other, then we're all going to get further ahead. So you got a question, you're scared about something, you don't quite know, I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Well, we hope we can continue to stay in touch.
No,
And-
this is done.
and
I've had a great
hopefully
time.
maybe work on something together when we're
Absolutely.
all able to kind of move and shake a little bit more. But I know I can speak for Vince and say we really appreciate you being here and really appreciate all your information and insight. And we hope to have you back here soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully be
I'm
back here.
grateful to know you
Maybe you can
guys,
come on with
so.
your partner. Maybe
Yeah,
your partner
maybe.
would want to come up here and talk about your
He's
blog
had
a
to
bit.
audition. Oh, you're talking about like I have
No,
my
your
business
partner is
partner,
Kathleen.
my life
Your
partner.
partner Kathleen. Maybe
I
you
will
wanna come-
definitely get Kathleen out here.
Yeah,
She
talk
would
about your
love
blog a bit
that.
more. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. We'd love
Yeah.
that.
Kathleen's honestly one of the most wonderful people. She's done The Shape of Water, Handmaid's
Ooh.
Tale. She's done so much work. She's like one of the most talented actors
Wow.
I've ever met in my
Awesome.
life. Yeah, I'd love to get her on here. She's like,
Sure.
if you think I have knowledge, she's like a little wealth of knowledge. She's so passionate about what she does.
That's
So yeah, I
amazing.
love you,
That's good.
Kathleen. And my life partner, he's had to unfortunately audition with me a lot. So I should just get him on here to
That's good.
talk
That's the
about.
support.
Well, there we go. We can have
He's
that.
not
too.
an actor,
Yes,
not an
Maybe
actor.
we'll get him on here for his business. We talk to entrepreneurs all the time. And we
Yes,
try to promote local
absolutely.
businesses.
That sounds
Awesome.
good.
Well, everything Andrea said, I totally agree. And thank you once again, guys. Samantha Spatari here in the Actors Garage. I'm here with my good friend and partner and founder of the Actors Garage, Vaughan. Guys, you could check us out as well. We do offer a children's acting classes, and it's very basic in the beginning, just to kind of get your feet wet and to just see if you actually do like the industry. It's great to get your feet wet and to know a little bit more, and also for your self-confidence, because I know a lot of kids these days, especially being inside. So when things do open up again, our classes will be back online and in studio. And it's a great way to kids to break out of their shell and to have great public speaking skills, because it's so important for us to communicate. Samantha, I learned a lot more from you. Thank you. It was
Indeed.
a pleasure working with you before, but I know we're going to be working on something again very, very soon. And maybe us two will
Ooh.
be doing something. You never know
Ooh, are these hints?
what can happen in the Actors Garage. Guys, I want to thank the crew, Sam, Ottaviano, Madeline, Charlotte.
Thank you,
You
Sam.
guys are awesome.
Thank
It's
you,
like
Madeline.
Samantha
Thank
said
you,
before,
Charlotte.
We're nothing without the crew. We love you all. If you guys have a story that you want to share with Andrea and I, please reach out to us. Go to Actors Garage Vaughan, DM us, and your story might be here, right
And
here.
that's any story, right? Vince doesn't
Any
have to be
story.
acting related
It
or
does not have to be acting related. You can have a business that you want to promote. You're an entrepreneur. And also if you just have a voice that you want to share to the world, because you never know who you can impact. And that's what we try to do here. We try to empower and share stories with everyone, and hopefully it inspires and it changes lives.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Andrea. I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, now time for
That's
the
a wrap. Woo.
Good stuff.
Yay.
Wow. That was good, Sam. You
That was
did
pretty
good.
good.
There you go, Sam.
I was listening.
Did
I
you
know, it's
listen?
like-
I was putting that. I'm like, oh shit. I think too much.
yeah, yeah. That's like a.
I'm like